Lainie Kazan, how have you been?
I'm wonderful, thank you, Ken. And you?
Oh, I am fine.
Good.
It's too bad this is only over the telephone. You have no idea how lovely I really am.
I have heard.
Yeah. You have? Wait a minute. We always have fun when we talk with you, because you're just kind of I would guess, an easygoing person.
Well, more or less.
Mm-hmm. You never really fly off the handle, do you?
I fly off the handle, but it takes a lot for me to do that.
When the pressure builds, then all of a sudden it lets loose.
Yeah, Taurus the bull, you know.
Mm-hmm. You have been busy, and I know. Are you still doing your own book work?
I'm doing my own book work, but I'm not booking the clubs anymore. I stopped doing that almost a year ago, Ken.
Mm-hmm.
I had done it for 2.5, well, almost 3 years. I had run both nightclubs on both coasts, and then my career as a singer just started to bloom, much to my my happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was that I couldn't really handle it all. I just
And the chanteuse is now loose.
yeah, exactly. So I still have an involvement with Playboy. I still work with them and for them, and the rooms bore my name until about a month ago. But I have kind of given that up in lieu of my art. I made that decision about a year ago.
You know, so many.
It was an interesting experience and a very gratifying one, and I'm not at all sorry. And I'm sure I'll do something like that once again in my life.
Mm-hmm. We talked before how you were an understudy for Barbra Streisand, and well, I hope the career is really going well for you.
I'm very happy. I've been working at all the Fairmont hotels, and I'm going back to do a legitimate play in Washington, which is kind of exciting. I'm going to be doing Showboat and playing that wonderful classic part of Julie.
Oh, that'd be terrific. That just came to town here with Forrest Tucker in the role.
Did it?
Of Captain Andy.
Yes. How was it received?
Always well received. Well received. Good show, and Showboat's just one of those shows that everybody falls in love with, I think.
Yeah, I don't know it very well, and I've just read it. I think the music is unbelievably beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Of course, everybody knows Old Man River, but there are many other songs in there that just don't come to mind, for instance, right now.
Birds gotta fly, na 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 na, I'm gonna love one man till I die. Can't help loving that man of mine.
Yeah, that's one that's in there.
He's just my Bill, an ordinary guy.
You want to sing for us, Lainie? Singing on the telephone with Lainie Kazan.
Like that?
Hey, you've been on television, too, in different guest spots, haven't you?
I have, and I did a movie of the week. I did several, and I did a 2-hour Columbo, which I believe, I don't know if we spoke since then. It was recently on, about 6 months ago.
Yeah?
And I've done a new comedy with Renee Taylor and Joe Bologna.
You are a gorgeous gal, no doubt about it.
Why, thank you.
How does this all fit into your life? I mean, we talked before how you were doing the book work and you were trying to keep your art going. It is kind of a full-time job. What is the deal in Hollywood right now? Is everybody kind of on shaky ground in Hollywood? I was talking, and the reason I brought this up, and maybe you wouldn't even be on the know because I know you're doing nightclubs primarily, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
But I get the feeling that it's very, very shaky in Hollywood. Everything costs so much these days. They really want to make sure they have a good film, and everybody's on pins and needles, I've heard.
Yes, I'm definitely aware of that. It's frightening. It's the industry is very, very tenuous, and the record industry, more than any other industry, is just falling apart. And I think, from my point of view, I don't know if it's valuable for anyone, but just from my point of view, I think they've taken such enormous risks with such. It's like playing the stock market with new product and putting all your eggs in baskets that have never been even looked at, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't invest in any good old-fashioned stock. And
you try to make a bundle with one particular record, I guess, and if it doesn't look like it's going to make a fortune, you just forget it.
It's like shooting crap.
Yeah.
And, it comes to the point where every once in a while you've got to invest in the telephone company or IBM or something. And hey, this is going to be around for 20, 25, 30 years, and they're going to make me constantly a success every once in a while, but it'll be constantly coming in, or consistently coming in, I should say. And these groups, they've spent billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And the record companies are just folding, and films the same way. Whereas the old film companies or television companies used to use a cast.
They had their own stock companies, really, didn't
Exactly. And, there are certain producers that do that, and they're successful.
But trying to get it back together every time with a new cast or a new crew and everything's pretty hard to do.
I would say it is, and you don't know what you're facing and who's going to, do what to your production company that's not a positive, that won't have a positive effect.
I guess what I was trying to boil down to is I would think that you're in the right area, though, doing nightclubs right now, because you can probably feel more comfortable doing what you're doing than being too tied down with movies. Not that you maybe even want to do any more than you do. I'm not sure.
Well, what I really would like to do, I would like to do film very much. I'd like to do film with people like, people who have integrity, artistic integrity.
Are there any of those left anymore?
I believe so. I think Francis Ford Coppola is one of those people.
Oh, you're right.
I think that the gentleman who did Nashville and all those wonderful, the Wedding, and his name escapes me. He's such a simple name. He's incredible. Robert Altman.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
I think he's got integrity. I think there are people in television that have some integrity. I do. But I think theater, and why I've gone back and said, hey, I want to do some theater, I think that it really needs a little blood. And I think people are wanting to see something live. If they're going to spend money, they really don't want to go to a nightclub unless they're in Las Vegas or Atlantic City, where they're going to see really a show.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Otherwise, it's really not that big of an escape, huh?
I think the money that is asked for is insane. I mean, both by the artist and nobody can make any money. I mean, for thousands and thousands of dollars that I get paid, believe it or not, one does not make any money when you finish paying your musicians, who are making a fortune, and they will deserve it. Because what people believe, like if I make a salary, and the average person would think, well, that's my salary, but that's my production company's salary. From that, I have to pay my company.
Mm-hmm.
My company involves road managers, light men, musicians. You just don't walk into a nightclub and sing.
And travel isn't cheap anymore either.
And that's what I was going to say. And food and hotels, it's insane. The whole economy of the country. I mean, we can get into a whole political discussion here, can't we?
Well, that's what I wanted to do, Lainie.
But
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So it's people choose their entertainment very, very carefully.
And the baseball parks may feel that too. It's getting to the point where
really,
well, people are wondering, hey, wait a minute, what more can you want? And yet, like you say, there's so doggone many expenses you incur, I'm sure.
Well, I think people would rather buy a Betamax.
Oh, and save stuff.
Stay at home and watch some television.
Yeah.
Buy their movies, and I know a lot of friends of mine hardly ever go out.
But you can only do that so long, and then you start climbing the walls. You still got to go out and see a live show occasionally, I think.
Well, I hope they're all going to come to see me.
Yeah. Lainie, I'll let you go. I know this has been kind of a last-minute thing with you, because you finished your run at the Blue Max, but I know you get around, and next time you're in town, I want to do this soon enough so we can really plug the fact that you've been someplace.
Well, I would hope that, do you have my office? Well, I shouldn't give it to you over the line, but...
Well, if you'll hang on when we get done talking, I'll make arrangements so we can keep in contact better.
I look forward to it.
Lainie Kazan, in the meantime, thank you.
And thank you, Ken.